I want you to know that we have been on a mission to blow the doors off business as usual. We have tried 3 books deep now to expose what we consider to be unconventional business best practices. First, with the Southwest Airlines story. How many of you have flown on Southwest Airlines, by a show of hands? A few of you, many of you out there, I'm sure. The Southwest Airlines story is an amazing story because it's about individuals at all levels within an organization who are willing to do whatever it takes to create what you are trying to create within these stores. An experience that the customers walk away and say, wow, about. That was one story. People pushed back on that story because we'd get audiences that would say, hey, listen, good book, good principles, but what if we're not in the airline industry? What if we don't have a leader like Herb Kelleher? What if our culture isn't crazy and wacko like theirs? Do those principles really apply? We went on a second journey, and that second journey was to not learn about and write about just one company and go really deep, but it was to learn from another set of companies in a variety of different industries, all kinds of different leaders, and that's the Guts book. So we looked at 30 companies, again recognized as places where people at all levels are willing to create a culture that creates an experience for the people who work there and ultimately for the customers and the consumers and the clients that they're doing business with. The Guts book was our second journey. It exposed lots of really cool strategies, but we got pushback. And the pushback on that book was similar. It was like, well, what if our leader doesn't get it? Now, you don't have that problem here at the SONY Style Stores. You don't have that problem. You've got Dennis, you've got Colin, you've got Jay, you've got Hero, who literally set this up so that all of you, all over the country, could be equipped with the resources to know how to do whatever it takes to make a huge difference right here in these stores. The Boom Book was our answer to that question to those people who said, what if our leader doesn't get it? Or people would even say, what if my team doesn't get it? What if everybody who's working on the floor, what if everybody who's working within the organization, what if they don't get it? I'm just one person. Can I really make a difference? Can I really create a unique new experience that the customer's going to walk away and go wow about? The Boom Book says, yes, you can. It's about 7 choices. It doesn't matter what position you hold. It doesn't matter where you stand. It doesn't matter where you play. It doesn't matter what your expertise is in any of these stores. It's about each and every one of you having the freedom and then the guts and then the passion and the desire to embrace these 7 choices and live them out loud, not just here at work, but in life too. Does that sound like it's a pretty good message for you here in San Diego and for those of you who are out here? Good. So can I move on? Good. This is Diesel. Diesel's an old English bulldog. How many of you love dogs here in San Diego? Ah, is there anybody who doesn't? I'm not a dog lover. My family convinced me we needed to get a dog. We are an extremely active family. We got a bulldog. Do bulldogs run? Do bulldogs hike? Do bulldogs swim? No, they sink. We got a bulldog. Well, Diesel spends most of his days doing what? What would you suspect an old English bulldog does all day? Sleeps. Diesel does that. He would sleep in Kevin's office all day on a big old fluffy pillow. One day, this is how dead people working plays out, by the way. One day, I walk in. Diesel is, as he always is, in Kevin's office on a big old fluffy pillow, sleeping. But on this day, he's not just sleeping, he's moaning. I'm not a dog person, so I don't pay that much attention. I go about my meeting with Kevin, I leave, but I come back later in the day, and Diesel's doing the same thing. He's sleeping on the big old fluffy pillow, and he's moaning. Finally, I look over at Kevin, I say, Kev, what is up with Diesel? Kevin looks over at him and says, you know, I think he might be laying on a nail. I said, okay, well then why doesn't he move? And Kevin said, you know, Jackie, I guess it just doesn't hurt bad enough. Pretty funny, huh? We all have nails, don't we? I know I've got a whole bunch of nails. What are your nails? Are your nails the fact that the consumer is highly educated more so than ever and knows as much, almost as much as you do when they walk through the door? Is your nail the fact that technology changes? Is your nail speed? Is your nail feed? Is your nail all the products that you've got to learn? Is your nail the Apple store down the street or at the other end of the mall? Is your nail the big box? Is your nail a colleague who wanders in and is a dead person working? Is your nail a boss who doesn't ask you enough and listen clearly enough? I don't know what your nails are. I know what mine are. The question is not what are your nails. This is the question. Are you moaning about your nails or are you moving? See, Diesel moaned. Tony Lapori chose to move. Everybody who we are going to talk to you about in the next hour and a half or so choose to move.
Let's dive right in, because the first choice that we put in the book is be a player, not a bystander. Because at the end of the day, when you really think about it, extraordinary happens when ordinary people like you and like me step into the breach and choose to do something extraordinary. And then the guest that walks through the door is ultimately wowed by the experience. But I think the question we have to ask is, what does it look like to be a player? I mean, what does that really mean? Well, a couple thoughts. Players have a competitive focus. Would you agree with that? Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, players are there to win the game. Sargento lives to beat Kraft. Coke lives to take down who? Frito-Lay wants to beat Pringles. Sony wants to beat who? Everybody. Sony wants to beat who? Everybody. Hey, New York, I'm not sure I can hear you. Oh, they got it on mute. Sorry. The question is, when you walk through the door in the morning or in the afternoon or whenever your shift starts, do you walk through the door with that competitive focus, that warrior spirit that says, I am here to win? Players are fanatical, man. They're fanatical about making the play. Would you agree with that? Yes. Right? I mean, players want to be the cause of something, not the effect of something. Because if you think about it, to be the cause of something is to influence the outcome of the game. It's to move the needle. It's to say, I had a voice, I had a part in the outcome that we created. At the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the quarter, at the end of the year. And what I want to know about you and about everybody that's watching this telecast is when you walk through the door, are you fanatical, man, about making the play? Or do you come in here and it's like, an hour and a half or two before you kind of get warmed up and really get your juices flowing? Players take the field, and when they leave the field, they leave nothing. They're spent. They give it all. Players are also passionate about being brand ambassadors. Now, I'm looking out at the audience here in San Diego, and I'm looking at you folks in New York and Chicago and around the country. You guys are all brand ambassadors. Now, if you think about it, the brand that you support is world famous, right? I mean, the beauty is you have a brand that is recognized all over the globe. That's the good news. The challenging news is that with that world-famous reputation comes a heightened expectation on the part of your guests when they walk through that door about the kind of experience they're going to receive when they're in this store. And if you think about it, experiences are deeply, they're deeply human, right? Experiences are created by people for people, and they're intellectual, they're emotional, and they're physical. And when you think about your brand, I want you to think about it as not the great logo that's pasted on all these exciting, sexy products. Your brand is a promise of a pending experience. It says to your coworkers, if you're a district manager, if you're a store manager watching this morning, it says to your employees, come work in our store. And this is the kind of experience that you'll receive. These are the kind of people that you'll get to rub shoulders with. This is the kind of culture that you'll get to live in. And these are the kind of, incredibly cool, cutting-edge products that you're going to get to play with. It says to your guests, your customers, when you walk through that door, if you do business with us, this is the kind of people that are going to support you. This is the kind of service that you can expect. This is the quality of our products, and this is the full-blown experience that we want to provide for you. The question is, does the experience match the promise? Who is responsible for that? Who is accountable for that? Best as I can tell, it's everybody in this room and everybody on this telecast around the nation. You are the one that either creates a connect or a disconnect between the promise and the experience. And Jay said it so appropriately this morning. If you think about the product differentiation today gets smaller and smaller and smaller, right? I mean, no sooner than you guys come out with some new whiz-bang something, Apple is quick on your heels or somebody else is quick on your heels. So what is the major point of differentiation regarding the experience? Answer, you. And players come and they say, we are going to come through that door and we are going to put our brand ambassador hat on and we are going to create an experience that's unlike any other for our guests.